Good morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
And I'm Chuckalicious, Chuck Williams.
Oh, it's that time. We get to sit down and talk with the Amarillo Zoo. Berkeley joins us from the headquarters there, and she's got a friend with her. And I was lucky. My granddaughter and I hang out at least once a week, and we go do some fun stuff during the summer and now during the school year. And we got to see this young man firsthand backstage at the fair. Berkeley, welcome to the show. I see you've got Merlin with you today.
This is Merlin. He's our white cockatoo. He's being a little bashful this morning. He had his breakfast, I guess, is a little camera shy. But Merlin here is, like I said, a white cockatoo. He's also known as an umbrella cockatoo because of these feathers on his head will actually poof up and look like a little umbrella. And that's kind of how he expresses his excitement and character and things like that. He'll just put it up. Yeah, and he always knows what to say at the right time as well.
Now, Merlin, when I got to see Merlin, he was in the back room there. Is he out on display or is he inside the educational center all the time?
So we actually do a rotation with all of our birds during the summer where we put them outside. We've got 2 enclosures out front of the education building now. And we actually put them outside when the temperatures are about 70 degrees and higher. We put them out so that they can interact with guests, as well as it allows them to have what we call enrichment. So it's something different for them, that they get to interact with people, get to show their personality. And so we have them on a rotation schedule. That each bird gets to go out a different day. And then in the winter, we actually do the same rotation, but inside, just where it's warm. So they're not having to face the cold weather.
Yeah. The thing that surprised me about Bird was he's a big bird. He's not a little bitty bird. He's a big boy.
Yes. Yeah. He's pretty big. He's probably the size of a small dog.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And what's funny is he's actually not our biggest bird we have. We actually have some larger birds here. We have some macaws, which are one of the largest parrots. And so we have different kinds of macaws, and we have a couple of Amazon birds. I believe I brought Juju not too long ago onto the show. So yeah, but Merlin here is definitely a fan favorite. He's my favorite. We bonded. So he's definitely like a son to me. And definitely full of personality. I don't know if he'll do his rock and roll this morning just because it's early and he's pretty sleepy, it looks like. So
full belly. Go ahead, Chuck.
You know, I was always under the impression when he raised his feathers on the back, that always meant he was displeased with something. But that's not true, is it?
So it could actually mean that. It's just kind of, you got to watch the other body language he has. It is just a way to show emotion, whether he's excited. And sometimes with birds, they don't know exactly how to show, I guess, worry or maybe uncomfortableness.
Right.
So it'll sometimes excitement. So we definitely have to watch the body language as well as the surrounding areas. And, maybe there's different things that are stimulating him that maybe are a little overstimulating, like if it's super loud or for him, it's if we don't give him attention. So
right.
It's different that we have to watch. But usually when he's enjoying, like if we have him with some kiddos, things like that, that's more of the I'm going to play around and rock and roll. Yeah, so it depends. You just kind of have to watch the surrounding area as well as his other body language, like his other feathers, things like that.
All right. It is one of the favorite seasons of the zoo is the fall season, and that's because of the Boo at the zoo. It's coming back again this year with the help of Amarillo National Bank. It's just a fun time. It's a great time to go out. Boo at the zoo will kick off Friday, October 13th and Saturday, October 14th from 6 until 9. You can get your tickets early. What are the things we're looking at this year? I know in past years, you've had everything from giant bugs to costume contests. What do you got planned this year for Boo at the Zoo?
So this year we kind of had a switch over within kind of our positions here at the Amarillo Zoo with Mr. Dillon, going to teach. So
Mhm.
this is actually this will be my boo at the zoo, or sorry, my fifth boo at the zoo. So I kind of know what each year has been like. But we have a couple of new staff members out here. So our focus is going to be pretty much to make it fun for the community.
Right.
And this year we're upping our amount of food trucks. We will have at least 6 food trucks a night.
Wow.
Really excited about that. The food trucks have always been a hit, and it's just a good time to come out with family. We are also going to be doing our usual character stations. So we'll have different costume characters out and about, passing out candy, as well as our lovely, and I can't thank them enough, our community vendors. We have different vendors coming out with tables set up that'll be passing out goodies to the kiddos. We've got sponsors, like you mentioned. Amarillo National Bank is our presenting sponsor. So we really appreciate them, as well as Raising Cane's. I'm blanking, Merlin.
Help out, Marilyn.
Help me out.
Right. And you can get tickets in advance, $6 per person. They kicked off on the 13th, and it's always just a fun time. And of course, they'll drag out the tarantula.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
always.
You got to have that tarantula. Got to have a spider in there somewhere.
We've got to. Yes, sir.
They're big. Let me tell you, they're a good sized tarantula they carry there at the Amarillo Zoo. But we were talking earlier, Berkeley. We had extremely hot summer, just unprecedented as far as that heat. Now, as we get ready to go toward the fall, turning into winter, you guys have to prep and get animals ready for that winter stay. What are some of the activities you have going on there, getting ready for winter at the Amarillo Zoo?
Yeah, so for sure, what we're doing right now is, since we do have our new bison, Bruno. We do have, and so we're actually having to train. Sometimes we have to train our animals to get ready for winter. So with the bison, it includes teaching them to come down to their barn after the zoo has closed.
Right.
So he is actually a lot more cooperative than his older sister, who's been with us. She knows that we start to call him down to the barn, that she's going to have to stay in at night. And she's definitely a free spirit. So we do have to train some of our animals to get used to coming in more often in the winter, as well as we're making sure that we have all the substrate we need. So whether that be straw, shavings, things like that, to put down on the ground for like our hoofstock animals so that they're warm. As well as just making sure that we have a stock up on hay for our animals to eat during the winter, because it's important that they have their nutrition and be able to keep warm during the winter.
I think sometimes people forget, especially when we talk about the buffaloes. These are wild animals. These aren't pets.
Right.
These are not strict. They're in their natural habitat. And buffaloes, we hear about Yosemite and the incidents. People think, oh, well, it's just a cow. And then they get tossed about 50 yards in the air. How do you talk the big sister? Do you cajole her? Do you use food? How do you get her? What do you motivate her with?
So her name is Belle. We motivate Belle a lot with like produce. So like apples, carrots, broccoli, things like that,
Right.
that she doesn't get on. That is more of a treat to her. So we use that, as well as we have started to use what we call a sound indicator. So we use a bell, ring the bell. And so eventually we're hoping she will pair that bell with, oh, okay, I get food. So that when that bell, they come down, they get their snacks, and then they're up for the night.
And how old is she, and how old is her brother?
Brother is 4. So Bruno is 4 years old. We actually just received him not too long ago from the Clovis Zoo. And then Miss Belle is actually an old lady. She's anywhere between 17 to 20 years old. So that's usually about as old as they'll get. Her mom actually lived to be about 27. So we have high hopes for her genetics that we'll see her for a long time.